Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of BBP News and another episode of Dumb Laws. We're here in Washington. We made it. We had a nice drive. It was a long drive, but we're here.
Washington. Next, you did a good job with the Airbnb. You actually found us a nice one in Seattle.
Quite rainy here, though. I have to say. It definitely lives up to its name in that category, but...
While we're here, I want to go see the fair, do the world's largest Ferris wheel is actually here in that.
Oh.
And the Space Needle. We have to go check that out.
There are definitely things to explore here. And, despite the long drive, I don't know about you, Chris. You were the one driving, so you tell me. But I feel oddly rested after such a long trip.
It wasn't bad, but the traffic into Seattle was brutal.
It was rough. It definitely wasn't the easiest time we've ever had.
A lot of rage on my part at times.
Yeah, but we made it.
Nothing new.
We made it, and that's what matters. And lots of things to explore, lots of things to enjoy. So I think we're gonna have an eventful but very good week here.
I agree. Yes. While we're unpacking, I figured I would give you some trivia.
Okay. All right.
What fruit in Washington do they grow more than any other state? A, bananas, B, apple, C, blueberry, D, tomato.
Oh, I want to say it's between two different ones. I'm going to say blueberries.
Nope, apple.
Apples. Okay. Huh.
This is a fill in the blank. Washington has blank out of the 5 largest bridges in the United States.
Okay.
A, 2, B, 3, C, 5, D, 4.
2.
4 out of the 5 largest bridges in the United States is in Washington.
What? Wow.
Now, this is actually, I almost gave this answer away.
Okay.
So, when did the first revolving restaurant open in Washington?
No.
A, 2005, B, 2019, C, 1961, D, 1985.
2005.
No, C, 1961.
1961. Okay, that probably would have been, honestly, the last one that I'd guess.
And I may be wrong, but back when I was doing the trivia, I do believe that Washington was either the first or the second restaurant in the country to have it revolving.
That's pretty amazing, honestly. Like 1961 to have a revolving restaurant. That's impressive.
And your score currently is 42 out of 136.
Yeah, I mean, the score is definitely not good right now. This is my second 0 out of 3 in a row here. And so I'm just not feeling the confidence, but it is what it is.
Look at that optimism you have, Nick.
I try to be optimistic. You guys have seen it. I've tried to be optimistic about this whole thing in the past. Eventually, sometimes that optimism just kind of fades away, especially after you have 2 0 out of 3 runs, in a row here. So hopefully next time can bring it back a little bit in West Virginia, but we'll have to see about that next week. But right now, we have a dumb law to talk about. And the dumb law for Washington comes from, and I'm sorry if I butcher the pronunciation of this, Skamania County. And in Skamania County, they passed a law in 1969 deeming the, quote, slaying of Bigfoot to be a felony and punishable by 5 years in prison, end quote. The law was later amended, designating Bigfoot as an endangered species.
Okay, so as we were driving to Seattle, we actually had to drive through this county naked. Whenever we drive into a new state, drive through counties, little Johnny educates himself on those laws because he's been arrested so many times.
Right.
He's now educating himself, and he read about this law, and he heard that there was actually protests going on to have this law overturned so people could capture Bigfoot and kill him and have him as a souvenir.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, Bigfoot is endangered. I believe he's real, he thinks. And he thinks Bigfoot should survive, do their thing as they will. And you know what? If people find Bigfoot, take pictures of it. That's what he believes. He went down to the state legislature, laid down the law to them, told them don't overturn it, and for some reason they all just listened to him. I don't get it, but there's no chance of that law being over.
There was he helped make the amendment that saw it turn to that saw Bigfoot become an endangered species. And again, we talked about this in Virginia with the raccoons, but Johnny, when he becomes passionate about something, he does not stop. Like, you can't change his mind once he's got a thought in his head and once he's got something to be passionate about. He will talk until he's blue in the face, and he will convince you until he's blue in the face. And he made it work once again. And, Bigfoot, an endangered species now in Skamania County. And, everyone seemed to calm down about it. There were people that were a little unhappy about it, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. I agree with you there on that. You said it so perfectly. I don't have much else to add to that. So we're actually heading to West Virginia next week. So we are in Virginia, went to Washington.
Going back and forth a little bit here.
Yeah. So that's where we'll be next week. Make sure you follow us on BBP News' Twitter account for the latest 24-hour breaking news, so you're always in the know. Stop back Friday for the latest headlines so you are prepared going into your weekend on what's going on in the country. Follow us on our personal accounts to see what we're up to. But until next week, have a great rest of your week, everybody.
Bye, guys.